$70 for a new video game. Are you kidding me? You bought a PlayStation 5 to play games, not to stare at the store page begging for a sale. Well, stop. The idea that you have to be rich to play the best games is a complete and utter lie. Here's how you fill your library with absolute masterpieces for less than a $20 bill. Let's kick things off with the game that absolutely consumed the world. For an entire generation, Hogwarts Legacy was the dream game, a massive open-world RPG in the 1800s wizarding world. It launched as a $70 beast. Now, it craters to under $20 on sale, and that's for the digital Deluxe edition. The value is just insane. You get the full-fat AAA experience. Create your wizard, get sorted, and explore a Hogwarts castle that is so breathtaking it's worth the price alone. The scale is immense. You'll learn every spell from simple charms to the unforgivable curses if you want to get your hands dirty. The combat is a flashy, fluid dance of spellcasting, and on PS5, the graphics, load times, and DualSense feedback are phenomenal. For under $20, you're getting a 60-hour wish fulfillment machine. It's an absolute felony that this is so cheap. Has any game in history had a comeback story this dramatic? I don't think so. CD Projekt Red dragged this game back from the abyss and turned it into a certified masterpiece with the 2.0 update. And now, this once full-priced game can be snagged for under $20 during major sales. Night City is one of the most staggering settings ever built. A neon-drenched death trap that's as beautiful as it is brutal. The PS5 version brings it to life with gorgeous ray tracing and an SSD so fast you'll never see a loading screen as you tear through the streets. You're V, a merc with the ghost of Keanu Reeves living in your head. The story is a mature, branching epic, but the gameplay is what was truly resurrected. The perks, the gunplay, the melee combat with katanas and mantis blades, it's all visceral, violent, and utterly satisfying. Getting this 100-hour next-gen RPG for this cheap feels like a crime. Speaking of CD Projekt Red, it feels almost redundant to keep praising The Witcher 3, but here we are. This isn't just one of the best RPGs ever made, it's one of the greatest games of all time. Full stop. And the free next-gen update makes the PS5 version the only way to play. As you can guess, the complete edition is constantly on sale for well under $20. The value is just staggering. You get the 100+ hour base game, plus 2 of the best DLCs ever created, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. That's nearly 200 hours of peak fiction. The magic is the writing. Every side quest is a gut punch of a story that's better than the main plot of most other games. The PS5 update adds a buttery smooth 60 frames per second mode and ray tracing. If you've never played The Witcher 3, buying it for under $20 isn't a suggestion, it's mandatory. For years, Star Wars fans begged for a great single-player story game. Respawn, the wizards behind Titanfall, finally shut everyone up and delivered with Jedi Fallen Order. This was a full-priced monster hit, and now that its sequel is out, the original drops to prices as low as $15. You're Cal Kestis, a Padawan who survived Order 66, on a desperate quest to rebuild the Jedi Order. The gameplay is a genius fusion of Souls-like combat and Uncharted-style exploration, but the lightsaber combat, that's the main event. It's about parrying, dodging, and waiting for that perfect opening. It feels dangerous and deeply satisfying. You'll explore incredible planets, and the free PS5 upgrade gives you a crisp 60 frames per second mode that makes the combat sing. It is an absolute must-play. The undying behemoth GTA 5 is still played by half the planet, and the standalone PS5 version of GTA Online is your all-access pass to the chaos of Los Santos. Rockstar brilliantly sells the online component separately, and you can almost always find it on the PlayStation Store for under $20. This isn't just a game, it's a platform for degeneracy. The PS5 version is definitive, with a 60 frames per second performance mode that is a total game changer, faster load times, and DualSense haptics that let you feel every curb boost and gunshot. The content is basically infinite. Start a criminal empire, run insane heists with friends, or just cruise around buying supercars. For a one-time purchase, you get a game that could last you thousands of hours. Alright, we're just getting started. If I'm saving you money, hit the like button. Seriously, it helps the channel. And I want to know, what's the best under $20 deal you've ever found? Drop it in the comments. Your tip might become someone else's next obsession. Now, back to the list. This next batch of games was drowning in awards. They might not have had the marketing blitz of the first group, but they are all masterclasses in design and storytelling. From Remedy, the masters behind Alan Wake, comes Control, a surreal third-person acid trip that is one of the most unique games of the last decade. The Ultimate Edition, with the base game and both DLCs, is a constant visitor to the under $20 sales club. You're Jesse Faden, who stumbles into a secret government agency mid-invasion by a paranormal entity called the Hiss, and somehow becomes the new director. You get a shape-shifting gun and insane telekinetic powers, and the gameplay? Chef's kiss. You are ripping concrete from the walls and launching it at enemies, levitating, creating debris shields. It's a physics-based ballet of pure destruction. The PS5's 60 frames per second mode is crucial, and this edition's AWE expansion crosses over with Alan Wake, making it absolutely essential. Look, Kojima's first post-Metal Gear game is weird. You deliver packages to reconnect a fractured America. It is audacious, beautiful, and you'll either love it or you'll hate it. But the director's cut for PS5 often gets so cheap that taking a chance on it is a no-brainer. You are Sam Porter Bridges, a delivery man fighting against terrain, the elements, and supernatural ghosts. It sounds like a walking simulator, but it is so much more. The magic is the online system. You build a bridge, and it appears in another player's world. You never see them, but you feel this incredible sense of collaboration. The director's cut adds new missions, and the DualSense feedback is amazing. It's not for everyone, but if you want something that will make you think, this is a journey worth taking. Based on the incredible novels, the Metro series is the benchmark for atmospheric, story-driven shooters. Exodus rips you out of the claustrophobic Moscow subway and puts you on a train journey across post-apocalyptic Russia. The complete edition, with the phenomenal PS5 upgrade and both DLCs, is a flagrant steal when it drops under $20. You're Artyom, searching for a new home free from radiation. The game throws you into huge, semi-open world maps to explore, scavenge, and survive. The atmosphere is king. The world is desolate and terrifying. The gunplay is weighty and the tension is palpable. The PS5 version is a technical showcase with a locked 60 frames per second and full ray-traced lighting that makes it one of the most immersive shooters on the market. This is a massive package for a tiny price. When Kenna was first shown, everyone thought it was a new Pixar movie. It's that good-looking. People assumed it was a full-priced game from a giant studio, but it was the debut from a tiny indie team, Ember Lab. Kenna is a gorgeous action-adventure that is now settled into the sub-$20 price bracket. You play as Kenna, a spirit guide, and your allies are the Rot, adorable little black creatures you collect that are key to everything. You command them to move objects, distract enemies, and supercharge your attacks. The gameplay is a throwback to classics like Zelda, but don't let the cute art style fool you. The combat is fast, and the boss battles will absolutely test your skills. It's a beautiful, charming, and deceptively brutal adventure. With Alan Wake 2 getting showered with praise, there has never been a better time to play the cult classic that started it all. This remaster of the Xbox 360 gem plays out like a season of Twin Peaks, and you can frequently find it for under $20, sometimes even dropping below $10. You're Alan Wake, a thriller author whose wife disappears on a trip to the small town of Bright Falls. You find yourself living out a horror story you don't remember writing, hunted by shadowy figures called the Taken. The core mechanic is genius. Light is your primary weapon. You have to burn the darkness off enemies with your flashlight before you can hurt them. It's a tense loop of managing batteries and ammo, but the twisting mystery is the real star. The remaster runs at a smooth 60 frames per second on PS5. It's required playing, and at this price, you have no excuse. This last category is for games that offer absurd value. These are the games you buy for cheap and are still playing months later. Sifu's premise is simple. You're hunting the 5 kung fu masters who murdered your father. The execution, however, is one of the most stylish, brutal, and rewarding action games ever made. It's a modern masterpiece you can now own for under $20. The hook is a magical talisman that revives you when you die, but you age several years. You start at 20, but if you die too much, you'll be an old master in your 70s with less health but more power. The Pak-mei Kung Fu combat is a thing of raw beauty. It's a complex dance of strikes, parries, and environmental attacks. The game is punishingly difficult, but it's fair. It respects your dedication and rewards it like nothing else. Godfall was a PS5 launch title meant to flex the hardware. The full game got a mixed reception, so the devs did something brilliant. They released the Challenger Edition, which often costs less than 15 bucks. Here's the deal. This edition completely rips out the story campaign. Instead, it boosts you to max level and drops you straight into the endgame loot grind modes. This is a looter slasher that cuts right to the best part of the game for a fraction of the price. The combat is fast, fluid, and a visual fireworks show. If you love grinding for loot and smashing enemies with friends in co-op, this is an unbelievable deal. It's all of the action with none of the filler. Made by just 3 people, Hollow Knight isn't just one of the best indie games, it's one of the best games ever, period. It's a sprawling 2D Metroidvania set in a beautiful, sad kingdom of bugs. The Voidheart edition, with the base game and all its DLC, is consistently available for under 15 bucks. The amount of content you get for this price is borderline criminal. You play as the Silent Knight, descending into the forgotten kingdom of Hallownest. The world is gigantic, and you'll still be finding new areas 50 hours in. The hand-drawn art is stunning, and the soundtrack is unforgettable. The combat is tight, precise, and extremely demanding. Every boss is a true test of skill. The game is tough, but every victory is earned. Hollow Knight is a masterpiece that puts most $70 games to shame. Winner of Game of the Year in 2021, It Takes Two has one rule. It can only be played in co-op, but thanks to the Friends Pass system, only one person needs to own the game, which frequently goes on sale for under $20. You play as a couple on the verge of divorce who get magically turned into dolls. Guided by a cheesy book of love, you have to work together to get back to normal. Every level throws a completely new set of complementary abilities at you, forcing constant cooperation. The sheer creativity is mind-blowing. One minute you're in a dogfight on a plane made of underpants. The next you're fighting a squirrel, Street Fighter style. The game is hilarious, heartfelt, and endlessly inventive. If you have a person to play with, this is one of the most joyous experiences in gaming. The fighting game genre is usually full-price hell, but the latest Mortal Kombat is already seeing deep discounts. MK1 reboots the entire timeline, and while it's still new, you need to watch for big sales where the base game can fall below that $20 mark. If you see it that low, you grab it, instantly. This is a fresh start for the universe. The story mode is another cinematic blockbuster, but the real change is the cameo fighter system. You pick a main fighter and an assist character, adding a whole new strategic dimension. The fighting is as brutal and satisfying as ever, with a new aerial combo system for insane-looking juggles. And yes, the fatalities are more creative and stomach-churning than ever. On PS5, it's a visual spectacle at a flawless 60 frames per second. Getting the latest and goriest Mortal Kombat for under $20 is a fatality for your wallet in the best way possible. So there you have it, a massive list of some of the best experiences on your PS5, all for the price of a cheap lunch. We've seen $70 giants like Hogwarts Legacy and Cyberpunk, masterpieces like The Witcher 3, and endlessly replayable gems like Sifu and Hollow Knight. The next time you see a new game with that insulting price tag, remember this: patience is a weapon. Incredible deals are always around the corner. Great gaming isn't about how much you spend. It's about the worlds you conquer and the stories that stick with you. Your PS5 is a gateway to countless adventures, and you don't need to go broke to see them. If you enjoyed this and your backlog is now bursting, subscribe for more videos on how to get the most out of your console without emptying your bank account. Hit the bell and check out this other video on your screen right now. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming!